Pass up throwing. Hackett to the plate. Six will elevate for the win. Yes, sir! Mosley takes a handoff, runs out left. Beat Billingsley after a stiff arm and will walk into the end zone to grab the lead.
It is a rainy Wednesday afternoon here in the middle of June, but it is never a bad time to be at Wings Etc. here in Valparaiso to talk to a number of our coaches here from Valparaiso University. And we got a big event today. If you're in the area and you can join all the coaches that are around, this is their third stop of the day. Started at the Valpo Chamber Networking event.
Then went to the Valpo Barnes & Noble, held a kids-only press conference at the Arc, and a couple of stops remaining. Go to the Boys and Girls Club of Valparaiso for the kids stop, and then Valpo Velvets a little bit later today. You can get a free scoop of ice cream if you stop in there from 3:30 to 4:30 p.m. this afternoon. So all the kids off school, of course. It's a great opportunity to make that happen. We welcome you to the show. I'm Sam Michael. I have a chance to talk to all of our coaches today on the head coaches from all of our sports here at Valpo. And first up is Coach John Maravich, who is the head coach with the women's soccer program. Coach, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you, Sam?
I'm great. I cannot complain. 18 seasons for you. The 18th coming up. Time fly by, right?
It does fly by, but it's been an absolute wonderful experience.
Talk about last season, how things went for you guys, and then we'll get into what people can expect when you guys start up again in the fall.
Yeah, last year was a bit of a down year in terms of the results. We had come off of 2 Valley championships, and we had a very, very young squad and then had a lot of injuries. So 41% of the minutes came from freshmen, but what it does, right, and it's a big part of our program, is it teaches our kids to be resilient and to be life strong. Because what we do every day is about creating great people. And so great people always step up in big moments. And so the experience that those kids had last year is really going to propel themselves into the fall. And we saw it this spring. So really, really excited. And the group that won 2 championships went through similar types of experiences. You have to become resilient. You have to learn how to win. And you have to learn how to be life strong.
Are you any different based on the type of season? Whether the success
I try not to be.
Yeah.
I think I probably feel a little bit more than the players do sometimes. But you got to be consistent. It's about the process. I think so much is in these players' faces today in terms of results. You're only good if you do this. You're only good if you do that. And that's where I think the part of growing individuals and growing people. Winners win. And you have to learn how to do that. No, they always say they're born. No, it's achieved. And you achieve that by going through and understanding, hey, when hard times hit, you don't change. You continue to push forward. You continue to strive to be the best version of yourself. And what ends up happening is amazing things, which is 2 Valley championships. And these young kids who are on the squad now, I can't wait to be there when they get to lift a trophy, when they go to have that experience. The look on their face is going to be priceless for me.
When you talk about a young team, there's always more holes to fill. So where have you gone in terms of your roster? Where's a hotbed for you? Is Northwest Indiana a spot where you're always looking?
Well, we are excited. We have a Northwest Indiana native coming in from Hanover Central, Kiara DeCidrio, and she's scored a lot of goals in high school. So if she can do anything like that for us, that would be super helpful. But we have a national brand. And so we're able to recruit. We had a player in this incoming freshman class that graduated in December and joined us in January. And she's from Orlando, Florida. And she did absolutely fantastic this spring, and we're expecting big things from her. And a lot of young kids, St. Louis, but the Midwest states, but we can also draw from Pittsburgh and some other places. So we have players on the squad from England. We'll have 3 from England in the fall. So I'm a Manchester United fan, and they're all not Manchester United fans. So right now they win that battle. But it's just a great group of people that come from all over the country that make this happen.
Well, you mentioned last year was a lot of injuries, unfortunately, for your squad. But if there was a silver lining, maybe they didn't have as much time working on the field. They were sitting, and there was some rehab, I'm sure, but maybe they spent some extra time resting, so the grades were really good. You guys won the team GPA last year, right?
We did, and we're super proud of that. We always seem to have gotten really, really close with our 30 kids. And so this year when they announced our name, like, our group went absolutely bananas because they're very prideful in what they do. And I think that's what makes our team very uncommon is they strive to be excellent in everything. And so they do that in the classroom and on the field.
Coach, last thing, let's look at next year. What do you expect? You said that youth, they went through it, so how are they going to be prepared for this season?
It's going to be really exciting because we're going to add a great group of young players to this group that has some experience now and can lead. And so I'm going to really look forward to this growth time where leadership takes over, and it's just a close-knit group. It's going to have a huge energy to it. That's what we saw this spring. So at the very least, you're going to see an energized group that has a lot of belief. And I think when you have that, you have everything.
Awesome. Appreciate your time, Coach. Enjoy the rest of the day, okay?
Appreciate you guys.
All right. Roger Powell's coming up in just a moment. We'll talk to the men's basketball coach. We'll take a quick break and be back right after this.
Life's biggest challenges don't come with a warning. When legal issues arise, whether it's a car accident, personal injury, criminal charge, or representing you before municipal boards, you need a trusted advocate on your side. At Westland & Bennett, we listen first because your story matters. We provide strategic, personalized legal solutions to protect your rights, your freedom, and your future. Peace of mind starts with a conversation. Call 219-440-7550 today for a free consultation.
Tech Credit Union supports the essential role of union labor in building strong communities. That's why we offer hassle-free banking, financial empowerment, and a commitment to your success. Save for the future, handle life's challenges, and trust a partner that stands by hardworking union members. Tech Credit Union, the better option for you and your money. Visit techcu.org or call 800-276-8324. Tech Credit Union, supporting union families every step of the way.
We welcome you back to Wings Etc. here in Valparaiso for our Valpo Coaches Show Tour. This is their third stop of the day. Coach Maravich just joined us from women's soccer. Now it is Roger Powell, the men's basketball coach. Coach, how are we doing?
Oh, doing unbelievable, man. Awesome day traveling around Valpo with all the head coaches, Valparaiso University. So, fun time. Excited to be here.
Awesome. Let's talk about last year. You guys had a nice little run, I know, in the conference tournaments, and you're trying to navigate still a pretty new roster in year number 2 as you get ready for year 3. So what did you like about last year? Where do you guys have to still maybe improve to?
I love the fact that we competed. Obviously we over doubled our win totals. It's crazy. We were 41 minutes from the NCAA tournament, which no one expected us to do that. And back-to-back freshman of the year, and, kid that was a freshman of the year, no scholarship offers. A year prior, this year, second team all-conference. So, I feel like the program's going in the right direction, and I got a new crop of guys that worked out yesterday, and we're excited to keep making Valpo relevant and try to get past and make it to the tournament.
When you talk about your roster, the biggest thing that everybody is talking about in college basketball, specifically, it's in all college sports, but really I think basketball and football get the majority of the conversation, is that transfer portal and trying to change your roster every year. So how do you keep up with that?
It's interesting. In last year's team, we had 11 new players, and a lot of these players, no one really knew about, and we did a good job of developing them, and they ended up being really good, and they moved on to higher programs. And this year we got signed 10 new guys, and, I feel like, instead of complaining about the transfer portal, complaining about things, use it to your advantage. And that's what we did this offseason. We went out and got some bigger guys, some more size. And, we've been blessed with some of the kids that believe in our staff and believe in VU.
What is your biggest emphasis? It sounds like that height and the size has been something you've really concentrated on.
Well, height, size, and I think altogether experience. My first year we were very inexperienced. Second year we had a little bit more experience, and obviously you see the record improve. But this year, we have some youth which I love. I love developing young guys. Obviously, back-to-back freshman year hasn't happened, I think, one other time in 20 years in Missouri Valley. So the development side I love. We had some dynamic freshmen, but then we were able to get some high-level transfers this year that we weren't able to recruit my first 2 years here. We got a kid from Tulsa who was a, 4-star, top 100 player out of high school, went to Michigan. Isaiah Barnes, high-level kid, averaged almost 10 points and 5 rebounds at Tulsa. We beat out some high-major schools for him. Owen Deese, a kid from Texas Corpus Christi, played in the NCAA tournament, won multiple championships, averaged 10 points and 5 rebounds there, had 20 points against Purdue last year on the road. So we were able to go out and get some high-level transfers, which I think is credit to what our staff has done over the years of developing and ensuring our programs going in the right direction. So really excited about that opportunity to coach some guys like that here at Valpo.
So you mentioned experience. Has the concentration been majority on transfers as opposed to looking in high school? Are you still in both?
No, not necessarily. Yeah. We got a kid from Bolingbrook, Illinois, a kid that I think is going to be very dynamic as a freshman. And we got a New Zealand player that's coming here that he isn't here yet because he's playing with his national team. So, JT Pettigrew and Carter Boyd, these are high-level high school kids. So, I think we've done both, and I think that mesh and that balance will hopefully keep our program going in the right direction. But I'm a developer, so it's hard for me just to get a bunch of old guys and not have any young talent in here to develop.
Last thing, let's talk about expectations. As you said, you've got some 10 new players, right? So what are you expecting once you get into when the games count here in late fall, early winter?
I'm expecting to have a gritty team, a team that is out looking to try to continue to prove something. I'm excited about, the community and our fans getting more excitement, but then, fighting and competing and not just, being 41 minutes from the NCAA tournament, but I'm excited about having a chance to actually go to the NCAA tournament. And I think this year for me is, in our staff, we want to be relevant in the regular season as well. I think with some of the transfers we got, with some of the length we have, I think that's a realistic goal. So it's just starting now. We got a long way to go, a lot of work in the offseason this summer to do, but I'm excited about where we're going.
Awesome, Coach. I appreciate the time.
Thank you.
Good luck this year, okay?
Appreciate you. Thank you.
All right, that is Roger Powell. We'll take another quick break, come back. At the other side of basketball, Courtney Boyd, the new women's basketball coach, will join us after this.
For over 140 years, the Central Midwest Carpenters have built our communities in Northwest Indiana. Are you ready to join the effort? We have long-term work, competitive pay, and the best benefits in the industry. We pride ourselves on innovative training and commitment to worksite safety. Earn as you learn as an apprentice. A solid career built on a solid legacy. For more info, go to carpenters.com.
But it's time. You gotta catch up.
Yeah. I'll catch up with you. I'll be right back.
I'll see you in a minute.
Anything else? Yeah.
Well, what's up, boy?
Hey, Ryan. Not tonight, man. Not tonight. Oh, yeah. You guys are right. Hey, come on. Let's go. Come in.
Welcome back to the Valparaiso Coaches Show. We're on the road here at Wings Etc. in Valparaiso. We've talked to the women's soccer coach, men's basketball coach, so that means it's time for women's basketball. And Courtney Boyd is about to enter year number 1 as the head coach at Valparaiso. Coach, how are you? And I'm sure you're excited, right?
I'm doing well, and I'm very excited, yes.
What is the thing that most attracted you about coming here to take this job?
Honestly, the challenge. I think the opportunity presented itself, and it was one of those where I couldn't necessarily, walk away from it. So I think that there's something to be said to walking into a program that's in such an incredible conference. And with that being said, there's so much room for growth in this program. And if we can step in and create that identity for where we think we should be and where we think we're headed, I'm super excited for the opportunity.
You've had plenty of stops on your way to get here, right?
Yeah.
Give us the Cliff Notes version of your experience.
So Cliff Notes version, most recently, a couple stops ago, I guess, I was at Clark University for 6 years, and we were fortunate enough to win a couple conference tournament championships. And my last year there, we won a national championship. So that was an incredible experience with a great group of people. Everybody says you have to do it with the right people, and I will say that if more teams like that come around, then hopefully more championships come with it. But then I went, after 6 years, I went to Quincy University NCAA Division II these past 2 seasons. And in the last 2 seasons, our first year, we were trying to get our feet on the ground, figure some things out. And this past season, we were fortunate enough to win a GLVC tournament championship and get ourselves into the NCAA regional. So we've had quite the ride, a couple different stops, but we are no stranger to a challenge, and so I think that's the biggest part of this opportunity I'm excited about.
So you've used that word challenge. What is the challenge here?
Well, we have 7 returners, and so the first challenge was creating the team, and not only creating the team, but with that comes creating the staff. So you have to create the staff, you have to create the team, and we're all trying to do it in a way that, you know, we're figuring out what our identity is. So the challenge is putting the right people in the right places, understanding each other's strengths and weaknesses, and then on game day, making it look like we've prepped for that. And so I think the challenge is the conference that we're in, but trying to, on the front end of everything, make sure that we're putting them in a position where come game day, it's a lot easier because of the prep we did beforehand.
You have to at least give off the appearance that there was coaching being done, right?
Somebody has to make you look good, right? So a couple days of prep, then we can at least give them a Cliff Notes again of what we pretended to do.
Let's talk about your roster. As you said, 7 players back, but that means there's plenty of new faces to add. So where have you gone to get some of those players?
You know, we went, there were already, from the previous staff, there were 2 freshmen that were committed, and they stayed committed, which is great, especially in the environment that college sports is right now. We brought on another freshman, which was great. And then everyone else is a transfer from either a 4-year institution or a junior college. So we were able to get 2 junior college and 3 4-year institution transfers. Some of them have 2 years left. Some of them have 1 year left. And so I think that the mix of experience and new and just the competitiveness, we looked for, obviously you always want good character, but we want them to be very competitive. We want them to love the sport and want to get in the gym on their own. And then we want them to appreciate, you know, their accolades are great, but we want them to be just as excited for the people next to them.
Last thing for you, for people who, I'm sure, as you said, you've been in a lot of spots, so maybe there's some people who have seen you coach and seen your play style, but for the Valpo fans who haven't seen you yet, and they're going to start coming to games here in a couple months, what kind of style would they expect you to be playing?
We're going to play fast. I was a guard, and nobody likes to watch boring basketball, and since we can't dunk, we have to make it a little bit more exciting, right? And so we're going to get up and down the floor. Our guards are going to be dynamic. We'll be able to, you know, knock down a 3, but I think our transition is what's going to set us apart. Defensively, we'll be pretty normal, the same as everyone else, depending on what type of man-to-man we're in. But I do think that our offense, pushing the ball in the first 15 seconds of the shot clock, is hopefully the game that we get to.
Coach, appreciate the time and good luck coming up, okay?
Thank you so much.
All right, that is Courtney Boyd, who is the new women's basketball coach at Valpo. Karen Avery, the volleyball coach, joins us after this.
At Notre Dame Federal Credit Union, you're going to come in and you're going to have somebody who truly cares about you sitting across the desk. We want to help you. We want to make sure that everything you need from a financial perspective is answered with the knowledge that you're making the right decision for your family.
Here we understand that life happens sometimes, and we all work together to find the best solution that fits your financial situation. Feel free to stop by or give us a call.
Looking for a place to enjoy great food and great games? Head to Doc's Barbecue in Dyer. Indulge in Southern-style hickory smoked meats served in a fun, welcoming atmosphere. Want to catch the latest local JED-TV basketball games? Just ask and they'll have it on one of their 15 big-screen TVs. Whether you're here for the food, the fun, or the hoops, Doc's has something for everyone. Stop by Doc's Smokehouse on Calumet Avenue in Dyer, where flavor and sports come together.
We welcome you back to Wings Etc. here in Valparaiso. If you're in the area, come out and join us. We'll be here till about 12:45, so another hour to get plenty of coaches, conversation. If not, you can continue to listen to us right here. Karen Avery about to enter her 24th season. I haven't looked this up completely. You have to be the longest tenured coach, right?
Yeah, I sure
I think we said that last year. You've got over 500 wins. You're the all-time winningest coach, though, right? So there's good things about being somewhere for a while. You get to win a lot of games at the same time. But let's talk about that. You've been here for 24 years as we get into this fall new semester coming up. And what has kept you coming back each and every year and staying at Valpo?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of reasons. I think that Valpo's got a cool niche. We're a small school, but we have the highest level of Division I athletics, and you can't find that everywhere, right? I believe in the school. I love the city of Valpo. I've loved what I've built, along with some amazing assistant coaches and a lot of amazing players. Obviously, you can't win that many games without great support staff. I love that Valpo is kind of a prime sport at Valpo. They really care about volleyball, and you don't really find that everywhere you go. So there's a lot of reasons I've stayed, and I love, even though I've been here a long time, we've had, I started when we were I think this is my third conference that I've been a part of. So that's kind of fun, too. There's always something different and exciting happening in my 23 years here.
Speaking of the challenge, I know you've done a good job. You finished in the top half, at the very least, in 22 of the 23 seasons you've been at the helm. As you mentioned, different conferences and doing that, and the one you're in now is, I would imagine, the most challenging. Yes. So what have you been able to do to keep that, even no matter where the feet are in terms of the conference, normally those feet tend to be near the top?
Yeah, I think we've done a really good job sticking to our core values in terms of our recruiting and who we're recruiting and the type of person we're recruiting, and the type of player. Even though we've had a lot of conference changes, I've kind of stuck to my recruiting goals, and it's kept really great people coming into this program that really build into our culture, and I really think our culture is a big reason why we win a lot of games at Valpo.
Talk about the type of player that you've been looking for. I know, talk to the basketball coaches, right? There's a play style that everybody can so evidently see, but I know in volleyball there's just certain types of things you're always trying to do. Maybe a couple taller players, but everybody needs that. So what have you been able to try to get out of your recruits? Yeah,
a couple things. I think if you ask anybody in the country about Valpo volleyball, they're going to say, oh, they're super blue collar, super gritty. So we tend to recruit on the kind of smaller, more athletic side. And again, I kind of went away from that when we went into the Valley because I thought I needed to, but I found out that it's not my style of volleyball that we play. So we run a little faster. We keep the ball off the ground a lot. We have a very good defense. In my 24 years that I've been here, or 23 seasons, we have been in the top 10 in digs per set every single one of my 23 seasons. So that's another quality we look for. I think we've also done a really, really good job recruiting the region. Have a lot of Northwest Indiana, Southwest Michigan players on our roster who just absolutely love the game of volleyball. I think that's super important that you really love what you do. And they've, their goal was Division I athletics, and I saw a little something different in them, and we've gotten them to come to Valpo, and they've really made a big difference for us.
You've talked a lot about this idea of the university and what it means and all that. So what is your pitch? Like, how do you sell them? Because you know it better than anybody.
Yeah, I really do sell them on, we get great crowds. We really pack the arc. The marketing and promotions people do a wonderful job with our volleyball games. They're super fun to be at, super fun place to play. The Missouri Valley is one of the best conferences outside the Power Four that you can go to. I also really, truly believe in the academics. And the professors and the relationships you can build, but yet have the highest level, like I said, of athletics in Division I. And so, we have a really good culture. Our transfer rate is significantly low. I can count on two hands the amount of transfers I've had in 23 years, which I think a lot of people cannot do in this day and age, because we get really, really good kids from really good families that just love the game of volleyball and love each other. And we've just kind of built our success off that.
What do you expect from your team last thing in year 24?
Yeah. Well, we started 4 freshmen last year, and so they're all back. We had 8 freshmen on the roster this year. They're all back. We only lost 2 players from our roster, so we have the chunk of our roster back. We had a really great spring. We were able to knock off Notre Dame in a spring game this year, which was really fun in front of about 3,000 people. So we're hoping for some pretty big things this year, especially having everybody back, and so we're very excited for the start of the season.
Coach, appreciate the time, and as always, good luck, okay?
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. That is Karen Avery, the volleyball head coach. Andy Waddle, the new football coach, after this.
Save more on your grocery shopping? Join the Strack & Van Til Rewards program. Earn points on every purchase and watch the savings add up. Get personalized offers based on items you buy most. Clip digital coupons for discounted or free products. Enter sweepstakes and more. Not a member? Sign up now. Membership is free. Scan the code on in-store signage. Download the Strack & Van Til app or visit strackandvantil.com. Life made simple. Savings made easy. It's a Strack & Van Til thing.
If you're thinking of finishing your basement, installing outdoor security cameras, or your business has plans to break ground on a new project in 2024, Powering Indiana, Lake County is your source for the region's best electricians. With IBEW, Local 697 electricians, you're choosing the highest level of safety and reliability. Visit poweringindiana.org today and ensure your project is in the hands of skilled professionals.
Welcome you back to Wings, etc. in Valparaiso. As we continue on, we're marching through all of the head coaches here for Valparaiso University. And the next guy is the head man on the football side. That is Andy Waddle, coming from Marietta, Ohio. His most recent stop, coaching Marietta College there. Coach, appreciate the time, and I can imagine you're excited with the new gig, right?
Hey, Sam, I'm excited to be here. Excited to get my hands on this football team and hopefully take it to new heights.
What excited you most about this opportunity?
I think that when I started to look at Valparaiso, I'd known about Valparaiso from my days as a high school recruit way back in the day, but I think that the thing that really excited me was to be in Northwest Indiana, in the town of Valparaiso. I came from a place that, we had a great community relationship, and I saw this as a great opportunity to have that same type of relationship. A little bit bigger city, but not that much, a standalone city, but so close to so much going on in Northwest Indiana and Chicago, and excited to be in the Pioneer Football League, which is a top, non-scholarship league in the country, and we're excited to be here.
Talk about your previous stop and how it sets you up to attain this job and what you learned to take here to Valpo.
Yeah, so I was the head coach at Marietta College for 12 years. Marietta plays in the Ohio Athletic Ohio Athletic Conference, the OAC, which is one of the 2 or 3 premier conferences in the country. I think in my time there, we had a few national champions in the conference, multiple teams making the Final Four, and always did really well in the conference tournament. So we got to play against the best. I mean, I coached against guys that played in the NFL. And when I got to Marietta College, they were on a losing streak and hadn't won a game in a couple years. Took us a little while to get our footing under the ground, but we took that program to new heights. We broke multiple school records there, the best 5-year run in school history, and so I think that coming here, I think that obviously I have the experience as a head football coach, but I also have experience at building a program, and I think that the foundation here is stronger than what the foundation was where I came from, and I'm excited to take our program to new heights.
What can people expect from your program in terms of style of play, things that you're going to do on the field that not everybody does, a little bit unique?
I think that we're going to be multiple with our offense, and I think that offensively you'll see us in a bunch of different formations, a lot of motions, shifts. But at the end of the day, I mean, we're going to, that's eye candy to confuse the defense, to force them to line up, and then we're going to run some, I don't want to make it basic plays, but we're going to run our brand of offense where we really want to be high-tempoed, fast and physical. Defensively, we're going to run to the ball as well as anybody in the country. We're going to be very dynamic there with a lot of different line movements and blitzes. And, I think last year we led all divisions of college football in third down defense, and I think that was largely because of some of the things that we were doing with the defensive line, some of the simulated blitz pressures, matching with coverages. Offensively, we averaged up 40 points a game, and very multiple, like I said, with our formations and our shifts and motions. But then we're high execution is what we want to be.
Coach, last thing, you look at this season coming up, you're building the staff, you got guys who you've brought in, of course, and you're trying to retain some of the players that were on the roster from last year. Where do you feel like you're going to be once we get to August, September, and you guys are ready to start playing games?
Man, that's a great question. I'm excited to figure that out myself. I like the guys in our program. I think that they're good people. I think that they love the game of football. I think that they want to be good. But I'm new to this league. I'm new to this level. And so, I think that I don't want to overshoot or undershoot. What I do expect is that our guys will go out there and fight every single day. We're going to be fearless in our approach. We're going to have integrity. You'll see guys that prioritize grit, that love each other and have heart, and we're going to be some tough dudes when we take the field.
Awesome, Coach. I appreciate the
Absolutely.
time. Good luck in year one, okay?
Mm-hmm.
That is Andy Waddle, the first-year football coach, and his team will take the field in a few short months. We'll have Maggie Kramer, the men's and women's swimming coach, after this.
Mental Health America of Northwest Indiana has been dedicated to building strong, resilient families in our community. Our focus is on early intervention and prevention, removing barriers to mental health, protecting against trauma, and ensuring every child grows up happy and healthy. Our programs empower individuals of all ages to reach their full potential. We create stronger families, healthier communities, and a brighter future for all. Visit mhanwi.org or follow us, MHANW Indiana, to learn more and support our mission today.
Have you ever considered becoming an iron worker? Local 395 is now accepting applications for their apprenticeship program. Go to ironworkers395.com. Look under the training section, click on apprenticeship, and scroll down to the application. You must be 18 years old, have a high school diploma or GED, and you must be physically able to perform the work of the trade. Find out more by calling the apprenticeship school in Lake Station at 219-962-7675 or visit ironworkers395.com.
We welcome you back to the Valpo Coaches Show here at Wings, etc. in Valparaiso University. Just talked to the head football coach, Andy Waddle, ready to enter his first season. Maggie Kramer, a little bit more of a veteran. Year number 7 coming up for the men's and women's swimming coach. Coach, good to see you.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. How did last year go? Give us a summary of both sides of, we'll say both sides of the ball when it comes to swimming, men's and women's, right? But give us a summary.
Yeah, the season went really well. Both our men's and our women's teams, they broke a lot of school records. They did really well at conference, scored a lot more points than we ever had, placed higher than we ever had. We had a lot of people making it back for finals, more than we have in previous seasons. And then we had a swimmer, Jackson Usman, that qualified for the postseason, which is the first time that we've sent someone to the postseason since we've been Division I.
Talk about the process that goes through, because I think everybody knows the team sport, right? So the team makes it. You win your league, you go to the postseason. How do you qualify in these with the individuals? What did he have to accomplish?
Yeah, he just, there's time standards for each event, and if you hit that time standard, then you're able to go.
So what kind of work did it take for him to become the first person in program history to do that?
I mean, Jackson's a hard worker. He's always, pushing himself hard in practice, and in the weight room. He worked a lot on improving his underwaters and his turns, and some things with his technique, like on his backstroke pull, and things with his breaststroke, and that kind of helped him, improve to be able to qualify.
Take us through a practice, because I think sports, you mentioned, you just said something, underwater, right? Everything's done, at least half your body's underwater, right?
Yeah.
So when you're talking about teaching the game, is there cameras you guys utilize that are under the water so you can go back and watch? I have to imagine there is, right?
We will use some GoPros to do like underwater filming to give them feedback with their technique. We don't do that every practice, but that's something that we've have incorporated into our program and our training.
Okay, so if you're at practice, and give me what's the difference between a day with a camera versus a non-camera? How are you guys working and instructing?
I mean, we have our weekly training cycle where each day we're focused on something different, and they're also divided in groups based off of their events like sprint, distance, mid-distance. Some days we're focused on doing race pace. Some days we're focused on like working on our aerobic endurance or doing sprint or power work. And there's going to be some days where we do like technique work, which includes underwater filming or even above water filming too.
So you went here to Valpo.
Yes.
You were competing. You were a swimmer here.
Mm-hmm.
What is it about the sport of swimming from your point of view, and obviously your athletes agree, what is it that attracts you to that sport from an early age?
I mean, for me, it was just the love of the water. And, the great thing about doing an individual sport versus a team sport is that, everyone can participate, and sit on the bench. So when you're doing a swim meet, everyone's able to race and, you see your improvement based on how you've done before. It's a very objective sport, So, I mean, that's what I love about it,
When you think about people doing swimming, is it something that the state of swimming is in a good place and growing more popular, or where's everything at?
We just had the Olympics last summer, and usually after an Olympic year, there's always a bump in membership with USA Swimming. More kids want to join swim teams, so that's good. And I think our sport needs to do a better job of publicizing ourselves and getting people to care about swimming more than Olympic years.
Last thing for you, Coach. Let's look to this season that's coming up once the summer clears, everybody gets back to school. What do you expect from both sides, the men and women, for your swimming team?
We have really strong teams on both sides. It's going to be our largest team we ever have. We're going to have about 30 men, 30 women. We didn't lose anyone to the transfer portal. Everyone that could come back is coming back. And we have a lot of really good freshmen coming in and transfers coming in that are going to make immediate impacts to our program. So the goal is to win more meets than what we did last year, get more people qualified for finals and the postseason, and place higher at our conference meet than what we did this year.
Awesome, Coach. I appreciate the time and best of luck, okay?
Thank you.
All right, we'll take a quick break and be back after this.
Do you like to work with your hands, creating something from nothing? Then think about Laborers Local 41. You'll get 432 hours of apprenticeship training, all while earning a wage with benefits and incurring no student debt. You'll travel to different job sites, learn tons of skills, and in a lot of cases, be the first one on and last one off a job site. It all starts at laborers41.com.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Jason Rakos in Maryville today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Welcome you back here to our Valpo Coaches Show again here at Wings Etc. in Valparaiso. We're about halfway through. We got plenty of folks still to talk to. One of those is Vincent Walker. Give your official title, Director of Track and Field and Cross Country for men's and women's, both sides. So that's fancy.
Yeah.
It's just coach. doesn't say that. Fourth year for you coming up. Talk about your club and how excited you are for the summer's going to go fast, I'm sure. Hopefully not too fast for all of our sake, but it'll be here before you know it. So what are you excited about once we get there?
Yeah, actually I hope summer goes by quick. I feel like I get antsy, when the team's gone and back home. And, obviously they're training and doing what they need to do and getting their mileage and stuff in. But, I really love the momentum that we've had the last couple of years. I mean, it seems like we're cracking into the all-time list and breaking all these school records year after year and bringing in stronger recruiting classes. And I'm ready to just kind of get back to work. And, we got some really big goals going into this year. So I'm ready to see all that hard work over the summer pay off.
Yeah, you guys set some records last year. Joseph Shaley, the men's cross country side, the 8K and 10K. And then I'm going to hopefully not mess this up. Leticia Raoult, right?
Close, yeah. Leticia Raoult.
Okay.
She's from France, so
I had no chance. Then, yeah.
No, I think I even say her name wrong still. So.
Yeah, there's a way to say it, but you're like, that's kind of right. And then from the native country, they're like, well, here's how you really say it.
Well, she'll say it, and then I'll say it, and she'll be like, no, it's Leticia. And I'm like, yeah, Leticia. And she's like, close enough.
Exactly. So, talk about the impact those two made on your program.
Yeah, both of them have been incredible. I mean, Leticia coming in, year one to be able to scare some of our records, is second all-time on both the lists. This fall was going to be huge for her. She kind of came off of some injuries going into last summer, so had a very slow build into the fall, and I think really surprised us on what she could do. To break 21, in the 6K is a huge barrier that people spend their whole careers trying to do, and to be able to do that in the first year, knowing that the training leading into it was pretty rocky, was really exciting to see. And then, looking at Joseph, he's been a guy who just has been a really slow burn, and I think that his performances this last year were kind of viewed a little bit more underrated than I think both of us would have thought. It's very impressive to be knocking on the door of breaking 24 minutes, for a 5-mile race, But his impact has just been huge, and since he came in as a freshman, he's always been put in a difficult spot. He, had to be our fifth guy his freshman year, sophomore year had to lead the team, junior year now has to lead the team, and I mean he's a guy who's knocking on the door of being a national qualifier going into his senior year.
So she's from France, you said?
Yep, she's from it's a region called Brittany.
Okay.
We would spell it Brittany, but she says it with a little bit more of an accent. It's in northwest France, and her big claim to fame is it's the home of the crepe. That is where the crepe originated.
Very thin pancakes, as we learned from
yes.
Talladega Nights
exactly.
much later. But I mentioned that because you think about all the way from France, and I'm sure you've got some players on the roster who are within 20 miles of Valpo U, right? So how do you have that dynamic of somebody right in your backyard versus somebody, quote unquote, across the pond, right?
Yeah, no, one, I'm a firm believer that, we are an Indiana school, like we got to do with Indiana athletes, and, I'm big into recruiting the region, but I'm also not going to pass up on some of the best athletes that we can get, right? So when I had the opportunity to work with her, I think she was very scared to come to the U.S., and I don't blame her. You're going thousands of miles away from home in different time zones. And, for her and her family, it was really, big the vision I was selling on them and the care that we were going to give her and how we were going to develop her. And, she's bought in from the day she got here. And, truthfully, all her success is nothing I'm doing. It's her dedication. And, she wants to hone her craft, and she has dreams of, running post-collegiately and trying to make some international teams and things like that. And I certainly believe she can do it.
Last thing, as you talked, all those players, they kind of go home, and it's an important time for really all sports. But when you're talking about something that is based on endurance and having to do everything just to be able to compete, how much of that is hands-off? You have to just assume your runners go home in the summer, right, and get things done.
Yeah, I think a lot of people think cross-country is just tell them to go run and figure it out. It's actually a little bit more structured than that. I mean, they get a whole packet, of what they need to be doing, kind of break down from week to week, starting after their downtime, going into the, whole summer season, and then we do kind of weekly check-ins to make sure things are on track. But a big part of it is the mileage and cross-training, figuring that structure and stuff out.
Yeah, something that I have no ability to even consider doing. If you said right now, hey, you got to go jog a mile or two, good luck. Good luck. I give those guys a lot of credit. Coach, thanks for the time.
Absolutely.
Have a great season coming up, okay? That is Vincent Walker with the track and field and also cross-country programs. Brian Schmack coming up on the baseball side.
Private luxury for a truly unique stay in Northwest Indiana. That's what Emerson House has to offer. From hosting a private event, a boutique wedding, or an overnight rental, Emerson House is one of those special opportunities to be lost in peaceful calm. The home, the hospitality, the nature, where luxury meets the serenity on 30 acres near Indiana Dunes National Park. See more of what we have to offer at experienceemerson.com.
Hello again, everybody. This is Matt Maloney of the Matt Maloney Real Estate Group, powered by Keller Williams of Northwest Indiana. The region is a beautiful place to live, and I've soared to new heights to market your listing to the best and widest possible audience. Call me today at 219-301-0477 or visit mattmaloneyrealtor.com and let's get started. It's not baloney. I'm Matt Maloney.
Welcome you back to our Valpo Coaches Show here at Wings Etc. in Valparaiso. And Coach Brian Schmack on the baseball side is joining us. And, Coach, year number 13 for you as the head coach coming up, and you've been here for 2 decades. Does that sound weird to say?
Yeah, I've never heard it put that way, but thanks. It's been fun. Like I said, it's an incredible community. School's great. You meet a lot of people. It's fun. I'm looking forward to it.
I was listening to ESPN 1000 earlier. I want to get your thoughts on something. They were going over the ratings for Fox and ESPN and all the baseball ratings. They're like, everything's up, especially if you're looking at people between the age of 18 and 34, which is always that key demographic. You capturing the next generation of people. And as a baseball guy, that's exciting for me because when you coach high school, you're thinking, man, I'd sure like to have more guys at tryouts and more guys playing, and you got to have more guys to choose from, right? So what is your thoughts on why that would be happening? Why is baseball maybe making a renaissance right now?
It's interesting. I think they've obviously, talked about the home runs, exit velocity, a lot of those metrics I think kids get involved in. I think there's a lot more celebrating, right? There's the bat flips. There's the stare downs. You look at college right now, guys are getting kicked out of games because of this kind of stuff. But in their mind, they're making it fun again, right? So I think some kids are getting attracted to that. Some of the old heads like me maybe don't like it as much, but I think there's a way to play the game. But I think that's just what's happening. I just think they're bringing fun back to the game.
One thing they referenced too, and I was against it at the beginning, but I think it's improved everything dramatically, is something you guys deal with too, which is the pitch clock. How has it impacted your game?
Well, sure, 100%. I mean, it's just faster, right? I mean, you play a 3-hour game, it's like, what the heck happened, So, and I would sit at Major League games, and it was boring because there was a lot of, foul balls or things were happening, taking time in between pitches, and now it's one after the other. It is, you go to a game now, 2.5 hours, and that's a long game, it seems like. So I think guys, it's a thinking game, right? You have to really appreciate it and understand that why is he throwing this pitch or whatnot. But for the average fan, they just want to see action, and I think that's helped a ton.
Yeah, I know the stat used to be like 3.5 minutes between balls in play or something. That's a lot. That's a lot even for guys like us who love it.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your season last year. Give us a summary, how things went for you guys.
Finished up great. Had a difficult year, and the transfer portal has changed a lot of things. We like to have the high school kids and get younger kids into the program and let them develop, and now everybody's old, right? So we've got to make some adjustments to this whole process, and we're starting to do that now. So looking forward to next year.
Who was most important to you? I know Connor Lockwood was honorable mention all-conference, so there's some other guys on that list, I'm sure.
Yeah, and Locke was great, right? It's hard not to mention him. Had some guys at the back end of the bullpen, Adam Guazzo, Ryan Cruz, guys that kind of stepped up that didn't have great previous years that just did a lot better. So, graduated a lot of guys, have a new crew coming in, and just looking forward to some of those new guys hopefully changing some things around.
What's been the biggest emphasis when you talk about recruits, whether they're from high school or from different levels of college?
I just think opportunity, right? I mean, I think you can go at a certain roster and sit and be a part of a bigger program, let's say, but the opportunity to play, and you get 4 years to do this thing, and we want kids that just want to take that opportunity up and contribute for 4 years instead of maybe just one after they sit for 3 years. So we really give those guys that opportunity, and the kids that want to play baseball, those are the ones we're interested in.
When you find guys coming from the high school level, do you feel like there's a lot of seasoning that they're missing out on right now, or are guys coming in pretty prepared and ready to play at that level?
They're missing some seasoning, and I think that's the travel ball circuit, right? There's so much emphasis on playing games that there's not a lot of practice happening. So, we make the mistake by assuming they know certain things, and we've been bitten by that. So you start in the fall about, hey, this is what we do, this is how we do it, and this is why we do it. And I think for a lot of kids, it's the first time they're hearing that. So it's okay. It's refreshing. You get to coach them again. But I don't think they're coming in as prepared as they may be used to in the past. So that's been the challenge.
One thing for you, because I find it fascinating as a guy who coaches high school, but I'm shocked sometimes. We had a kid come in years back who was a good catcher, very talented, but first game we're playing JV, I'm coaching him, he doesn't trail the runner to first base, right? And I go, hey, he had no idea what I was talking about. And he was a high-level travel guy, Yeah. So what is there something that sticks out to you? You don't have to name anybody, but what is the most surprising thing you couldn't believe X player didn't know?
I don't know of anything specific. Base running is the key. Yeah. That's where we see the biggest fault is base running because it's not worked on. And I think it's a skill. To your point about the catchers, I think in high school there's courtesy runners, right? Mm-hmm. So these kids may literally never be on the bases until they get to college. So some of the things that you see, not looking in on hit and runs or even on steals or, the tagging type stuff, they just don't know. So having to teach those basic things is sometimes a shock for us.
Yeah, it is. There's crazy things all the time. Coach, good luck. Have a good summer and get everything back to where you want it to be all the way for the spring, right?
Yeah, for sure. 100%.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, we'll take a quick break and come back. We've got plenty more to get to after this.
Life's biggest challenges don't come with a warning. When legal issues arise, whether it's a car accident, personal injury, criminal charge, or representing you before municipal boards, you need a trusted advocate on your side. At Westland & Bennett, we listen first because your story matters. We provide strategic, personalized legal solutions to protect your rights, your freedom, and your future. Peace of mind starts with a conversation. Call 219-440-7550 today for a free consultation.
Tech Credit Union supports the essential role of union labor in building strong communities. That's why we offer hassle-free banking, financial empowerment, and a commitment to your success. Save for the future, handle life's challenges, and trust a partner that stands by hardworking union members. Tech Credit Union, the better option for you and your money. Visit techcu.org or call 800-276-8324. Tech Credit Union, supporting union families every step of the way.
Welcome you back to Wings Etc. here in Valpo as we move down the list. Bob Modesto, the women's tennis coach, about to enter year number 7. Coach, how are you?
Great.
Good. Let's talk about last year. How did things go for your team? And
last year was a little rough. We had two of the best players in the Missouri Valley Conference, and just excited and optimistic, and we're ready for a great year. And then our number 2 player pulled an Achilles tendon and tore it, and so had to have surgery. And is now on the road to recovery. But it was tough.
Yeah.
We were really projected to do well and win, and we had another injury from another player who had a cyst on her hand, and then we had a player who didn't return who had won the conference in the fall. So at the outset, we're just excited. We knew that we were going to do well and compete, and 2-3 injuries and a player not returning really made a difference.
So how have you tried to combat that this year? Recruiting, all that stuff,
Recruiting,
right?
Yes. So in the past, we've always carried about 7 or 8 players. This year we'll have 9, 10, could even have 11 players. So just a complete different, we learn from our errors.
Right. So. It's often the case, you got to make the mistakes sometimes, right?
Yeah.
So what have you looked for in some of those players? You mentioned you had some talent and some of those players are gone and maybe trying to come back still from injuries. So how have you tried to replace them?
You really recruit work ethic. And so the task is, how do you do that? And it really is in that recruiting process. You're looking to recruit players that are going to come in and just love the game, just leave it all out on the court, and really have a terrific work ethic. For this coming year, we do have a local player, so it's always nice to have someone from Northwest Indiana.
Okay, who we got?
We've got Anna Barron from Crown Point.
Okay.
So she's a lot of compliments come from opposing coaches from the area who have just said, boy, you've got a great player coming in to Valpo from the area. So we're excited.
So what is the state of girls tennis around here in the high school? Pretty good?
Yeah, Munster has a couple of sisters who are pretty good. Chesterton always has a couple players that are pretty decent, but we're excited about Anna from Crown Point. So we just think it's going to be, and we always look locally first. And so last year we had players from Canada, Australia, Texas, Florida. We had no one local. So this year it's nice to have some local flavor.
Sure. When you talk to those players locally, conversations about coming to Valpo, is it tough to try to get them to stay around home?
Valpo's a great school.
Yeah.
And so I really feel like it's not difficult. I love the university. I think the education is phenomenal. So for me, it's a pretty easy sell. I truly believe in it. So.
You mentioned all that talent last year. At the top of that list was Moira Silva, who is going to enter her senior year. She fell just short, potentially, from being would have had a good case to be the MVC Player of the Year, right? So talk about her.
Yes, it was. It came down to the very last match. It was between her and the player from University of Illinois, Chicago, and Moira won the first set. And so we're looking at it and we're thinking, gosh, she is going to be the Missouri Valley Conference Player of the Year. We're excited. We just fell short. And so even, again, we learned from that, and I think Moira is going to come back even stronger this year. And a lot of mental preparation, a lot of physical preparation, but we're excited. And we think, we feel like it's going to be a turnaround for this year for her.
Awesome. Coach, I appreciate the time. Good luck this year, okay?
Thank you.
That is Bob Modesto, the women's tennis coach. We will talk with Jill McCoy, women's golf, after this.
For over 140 years, the Central Midwest Carpenters have built our communities in Northwest Indiana. Are you ready to join the effort? We have long-term work, competitive pay, and the best benefits in the industry. We pride ourselves on innovative training and commitment to worksite safety. Earn as you learn as an apprentice. A solid career built on a solid legacy. For more info, go to carpenters.com.
But it's time. Listen, you gotta catch up. Yeah. I'll catch up with you. I'll be right back. I'll see you in a minute.
Yeah.
Well, what's up, boy? Hey, Ryan. Not tonight, man. Not tonight. Oh, yeah. You guys are right. Hey, come on. Let's go. Come in.
Jill McCoy is the head women's golf coach here at Valparaiso University, about to enter her 8th season. Coach, let's talk about your program and kind of where everything's at and how this past season went.
It's been great. I can't believe it's 8 seasons already. But no, it's been really good. I actually, the last 4 years, had a group of seniors that have moved out, and I can't believe they're gone. It seems like they've been around for a while. And the program's come a long way in those 4 years. We've kind of made strides to improve the team scoring average and just moving the program in the right direction.
When you talk about some of those players, I imagine Anna Faye is at the top of that list, or close to it at least?
She is. Anna was a great player and phenomenal student. I mean, what she did with her academics while she was playing golf is just impressive. There was one tournament we were walking to the first tee and she's like, I just failed a final or an exam, and we get back and she still had an A in the class. It all blended it together for her, and I think she applied everything that she did to her academics to her athletic life too.
Talk about the state of golf, either in the area or just altogether. Were you looking for players? How are things looking for them?
Golf's still popular. There's still a lot of people playing golf. There's a lot of girls out there playing golf. I kind of look more in the area than out of the area. I've kind of learned to look for the girls that know how to play in cold weather.
Yeah.
It's important because we don't play in a lot of warm weather.
No.
But yeah, there's a lot of girls playing right now, and there's a lot of leads out there. So I'm excited for the future too.
Yeah, it's not just cold; it's windy all the time too.
This is the worst spring we've had, I think, that I can possibly remember. I don't ever remember there being this much wind.
Yeah, there has been many times where I play and try to play 60, 70 rounds a year, right? And maybe average, right? I shoot at 85, 84, hopefully. But there's many times where it's been like a Sunday, got a chance to play, and I look out there, my brother will play in anything. So he's like, come on, let's play. And I'm like, it's 53, and the wind chill's like 40s, and it's like 20 miles. I'm like, I don't really want to.
Yeah, no, we played our conference tournament this year in 20 and 30 mile sustained winds. I mean, yeah, it was 65 degrees and felt like 50. It's just something we kind of got used to, and you do get used to it. But it's tough conditions. It's tough. It's tough playing in the wind, and it's tough continuing to have to keep playing in the wind when you do it.
Is there anything you can do in terms of coaching and trying to be better at something? I know you're trying to hit stingers and stuff like that to just kind of cut through it, but anything else?
No, I mean, there's a lot of just trying to figure out what mile per hour that wind is blowing, what direction it's blowing, so that you know on every hole, and then just not fighting it. I mean, you just got to kind of let it ride And the more you fight it, the worse the shot's going to be because you're trying too hard to control it. So.
Right. I think that's always the thing for me mentally. You think, man, I really have to do something that I'm almost not capable of, which is if I'm a guy who hits a 250, 260-yard drive, normally I have to try to smash something to the caliber of 280 to get to my normal, and I can't do it.
Right, and it doesn't work that way. And you have to remember the whole field's playing in the same conditions.
Mhm.
So, the average score is going to be higher anyway, so if you just maintain, you're going to be right in there.
You have an interesting dynamic being the coach and then having your daughter on the team, so how do things work with that?
It's been great. It's been a lot of fun. She's done a great job. I really enjoyed having her, and she enjoys being on the team. She's doing a great job just being one of the players too. We have this routine where at the end of every round we sit down and we analyze every single shot that she's taken, whether it's on the car ride home or in the hotel after the round. But other than that, I mean, she's part of the team and she does a great job. She's going to be one of our leaders this year, and just looking to be a team captain and really kind of getting everybody kind of squared away and creating good team culture. She's their go-to person too. If you need anything, they tell Caitlin to ask mom. So
That makes it a little bit easier. You don't have to go right to coach, right?
Yeah, they've got that.
When did she pick up the golf clubs, and when did you pick them up?
So I picked up the golf clubs when I was about 5 years old.
Okay.
I had a dad who was a scratch golfer and played all his life. She was pretty much born with one in her hand. We handed her golf clubs when she could walk. For about the first year or two of her life, my ball never hit the bottom of the cup because she would run and pick it up. Caitlin and my younger one too, just raised on a golf course. I mean, and there's an advantage to that. I mean, I do give them lessons. We do go through that process for sure, but there's a lot of natural ability that they've just picked up just by being immersed in it.
Golf's a family affair then.
Golf is a family affair for sure.
All right. How is this, last thing we'll finish on, how is the season when you look towards next year and where your team projects and what you're expecting? What do you expect out of your team?
I just expect to keep moving forward. I mean, just keep climbing that leaderboard and just moving forward. I mean, we've got some great recruits coming in. We've got some, between my daughter and Taylor Skabinski still here to lead the team. I just expect things to keep going the way they're going.
Okay, got it, Coach. Well, I only expect, in exchange for doing these interviews, you and Dave do have to, one of these days I'm going to cash in like a free lesson.
Absolutely. You come out to Sand Creek and see me anytime.
Or like 10 free lessons,
Yeah.
maybe. That's Jill McCoy, who runs women's golf. Coach, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll talk to Dave Gring on the men's golf side after this.
At Notre Dame Federal Credit Union, you're going to come in and you're going to have somebody who truly cares about you sitting across the desk. We want to help you. We want to make sure that everything you need from a financial perspective is answered with the knowledge that you're making the right decision for your family.
Here we understand that life happens sometimes, and we all work together to find the best solution that fits your financial situation. Feel free to stop by or give us a call.
Looking for a place to enjoy great food and great games? Head to Doc's Barbecue in Dyer. Indulge in Southern-style hickory smoked meats served in a fun, welcoming atmosphere. Want to catch the latest local JED-TV basketball games? Just ask and they'll have it on one of their 15 big-screen TVs. Whether you're here for the food, the fun, or the hoops, Doc's has something for everyone. Stop by Doc's Smokehouse on Calumet Avenue in Dyer, where flavor and sports come together.
Welcome back to Wings Etc. here in Valpo. Our Valpo Coaches Show marches on. Dave Gring is the men's golf coach, and he enters his 15th season once we get to the next school year, but a whole summer to get through. Coach, talk about the previous year, how your team did, and all the accomplishments they put together.
Yeah, we were very blessed. It was our second best year from a team scoring average in my 14 years. And that followed the previous year that was our all-time mark. We just missed beating that this past year. I was really proud of the guys, something unique where all nine averaged better than they had the previous year. And just what a tribute to those guys and to their work ethic and so forth. And that showed. That showed in our scoring and how we played throughout the season. So it was great. Had a lot of good successes, individually, individual players, and also team-wise. So we were very blessed. A solid year.
What do you think was the biggest factor maybe in the improvement from everybody? What did they all do that was a little bit better?
That's a great question. I'd say really two things. One, last summer, leading into the new school year, the new season, they all of them competed, played in tournaments, stayed sharp, during the summer on their own, doing that. And then in number two, I'd say, really in practice, just it was a heightened level of focus and intentionality and determination, just, practicing well and not horsing around, and getting in good quality work. And then that showed on the golf course in competition.
Yeah, I think the people who play golf amateur, like myself, you feel like there's a day you go out there and the driver's great, but you can't putt, and some days where you're really putting well, but you can't hit the driver straight. So as a guy who's been around the game as long as you have, and when it comes to scoring, is there something that outweighs the ability to score a little bit more? Maybe it's around the green play, or is there something in your estimation?
Well, even if you go all the way up to Scotty Scheffler, I mean, he's having days where he's driving the ball better than he's putting and so forth. But then again, he's Scotty Scheffler, number one, so he's kind of doing everything really well.
He's okay.
Yeah, exactly. But the cliche answer, but the right answer. I mean, it's still short game. Just the performance, chipping around the greens, the wedges into the green, proximity, to the hole. You can be driving the ball well, but you got to get the ball close, to the hole in regulation to have a good birdie opportunity. If you're putting, 20, 25 footers all day, you're not going to make too many. But if you're knocking them 5 to 10 feet, you're going to make a lot of birdies. And then certainly, the putting. It's just the putting is imperative. And again, that was another reason for our improvement this past year was a lot of good putting. So, and then the last thing I'd say is also course management. We spent a lot of time on looking at the course and just how are we going to manage it. Each guy specifically with their swings and their talent level, and so forth. Yeah.
Let's talk about some of the individuals. Anthony Delasante earned an at-large NCAA regional berth. He was the MVC Golfer of the Year. Pretty impressive for him last year, huh?
Just what a great young man. Just 4 years with him, it was a blessing. Our entire senior class, all four of those guys were tremendous. But Anthony, just an amazing player, a great young man. Again, balanced. He was the top student athlete in the league, and then also the player of the year in the league. So averaged, just a little over 69.5. Just tremendous competitor, great work ethic. He'll turn pro this fall. So him and again all my seniors, great leadership there, and going to miss all four of those guys. That's a big class out of 9. Graduating 4 players, but all those guys, it was an honor and a pleasure to coach them.
Absolutely, I'm sure. And like I told Coach McCoy, too, I'm still waiting to cash in our I'm going to get some lessons one of these days.
We'll do that.
I need them.
Yeah,
well, Coach, continued success. And,
Thanks,
and like
Sam.
you said, those players who graduate out, obviously, especially you talk about ones who are going to be professionals, that's a big testament. So congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate
Absolutely.
it. All right.
We will step aside and have John Martin on the other side, women's bowling, right after this.
Save more on your grocery shopping? Join the Strack & Van Til Rewards program. Earn points on every purchase and watch the savings add up. Get personalized offers based on items you buy most. Clip digital coupons for discounted or free products. Enter sweepstakes and more. Not a member? Sign up now. Membership is free. Scan the code on in-store signage. Download the Strack & Van Til app or visit strackandvantil.com. Life made simple. Savings made easy. It's a Strack & Van Til thing.
If you're thinking of finishing your basement, installing outdoor security cameras, or your business has plans to break ground on a new project in 2024, Powering Indiana, Lake County is your source for the region's best electricians. With IBEW, Local 697 electricians, you're choosing the highest level of safety and reliability. Visit poweringindiana.org today and ensure your project is in the hands of skilled professionals.
We welcome you back to Wings Etc. here in Valpo. A few more coaches to get to, and then we'll wrap up with the Director of Athletics, Laurel Hosmer, in just a few moments. We're about 10 minutes from that. John Martin with the women's bowling team, about to enter year number 1. So tell us all about, or about to enter year number 2. Tell us all about year number 1, Coach. How did things go for you?
Things went really, really well. I got a lot of ladies who put in a lot of time, a lot of work. We've gotten a lot better physically, what we're doing. Set a bunch of school records for Baker games. I think we threw 5 out of the top 10 in program history just in this past year. So I'm expecting some big things going forward. Most of my team were a bunch of sophomores, so we're going to run it back this year, run it back next year, and see if we can make an NCAA tournament. And who knows? Cross our fingers. Maybe we'll bring home one of those crazy NCAA trophies.
Right, exactly right. You just talked to the two golf coaches, and for some people, golf's like a hobby. It's an excuse to go out to the course and have a couple of Diet Pepsis and stuff like that, right? And I think so many people think that about bowling, and you get it portrayed in movies, the guys at the bar eating the fried food and doing all this stuff around the lanes and whatever. But for some people, I've got a couple of buddies who are really talented. They were just down in Mobile, Alabama, doing a tournament and stuff like that. So when for you did it become a passion and something that you were obviously probably pretty good at and could then one day get into coaching?
Bowling is a weird sport because you can't, in golf you can see the courses. You can see the greens. You know what a difficult green looks like. In bowling, everything is invisible. It's all about the lane pattern. They basically lay oil out on the lanes, and that determines your playing field. So the stuff you might throw on and the balls you might throw on, it's very kind of simple stuff. It would be almost like comparing miniature golf to playing real golf. And it's completely and totally different. So, our typical bowlers, every single one of our bowlers probably has an arsenal of bowling balls between like 6 and 12 bowling balls. A professional in a professional tournament might drill up and throw 15 to 20 bowling balls, trying to get the right shape, but get the balls to go to the pins, get the right surface so that the ball can either go longer on the lanes or read the lane shorter, or, like tire treads on a tire, the surface of the bowling ball will absorb oil, spread oil, do all those things, and those lanes constantly change. So if you can imagine putting in golf and trying to hit a shot in golf, and then all of a sudden the next one you go up and hit at the same spot, it breaks 2 more degrees to the left, and it's all of a sudden it's like, what in the world is that? That's what's going on in bowling all the time, and it's very difficult to figure out. It's extremely complex. It's kind of a combination sort of being a baseball or a softball pitcher. When you talk about spin rate, rev rate, what they're trying to do as far as getting the ball to do that stuff, you're just doing it with a 15-pound bowling ball, which is a little more difficult. So I
would have never known that people had that many different types of bowling balls.
Yes, they absolutely do. So my daughter is actually on staff with a bowling ball company. She probably drills up 50 to 100 bowling balls a year.
Wow.
So, yeah.
So when you're talking about all those different factors, like, is it obvious once you see it after a while, like what the lanes are doing and what ball to use, or is there some trial and error that you have
There's a lot of trial and error.
Yeah.
There's a lot of trial and error kind of seeing it and what's going on, and it takes a long time to really be able to see it because it's invisible, and you're not just kind of looking for what hooks at the end of the lane, which is really easy to see. You're watching how the ball kind of slows down in the middle part of the lane, how it's kind of seeing the lane, and it takes a long time to really start to understand that. They'll say that on the guys tour, on the men's tour, you'll have people, they don't really get really good in understanding until they're about 28 years old. So you're going to come out about 22. It's going to take you literally about 6 years, even though you've bowled your whole life, to really start to get a really in-depth understanding about what's going on and how to generate the shapes you need to generate in order to be able to have a tremendous amount of success. So, it's the simplest, easiest game you've ever played in your life.
See, this is why I'm bad at bowling. Now I can tell everybody why I'm not any good. It's because the lanes, the oils, and I don't have the right ball.
Yeah, that's what bowlers do.
That's the problem.
That's the easiest excuse. We got a million excuses. It's like golf, man.
Right.
Same thing.
I just need new clubs. Yeah,
Right.
it's the club's fault.
Right.
Let's finish on this. As you look to next year, what is your team hoping to continue on, and then how are you guys going to get even better?
I mean, at the end of the day, it's just a process. You just work on kind of getting better every day and kind of seeing where you're at. Our goal is to make the NCAA tournament. Our goal is to make the Final Four, and frankly, our goal is to win a national championship. So that's what we're trying to do, and you just keep working on your physical game, working on getting better. A lot of the ladies do a lot of stuff over the summertime, bowling tournaments, bowling individual tournaments, working with that stuff, and we'll see where we get. Like, bring on the fall, let's go. So.
All right. Well, I love it, Coach, because you've given me all the excuses to tell people why I don't bowl at this point.
There you
why
go.
I'm bad. Why
there you
I'm
go.
really
There
bad.
you go.
That is John Martin with the women's bowling team. Appreciate him. Mike Armitage is our final coach coming up next.
Mental Health America of Northwest Indiana has been dedicated to building strong, resilient families in our community. Our focus is on early intervention and prevention, removing barriers to mental health, protecting against trauma, and ensuring every child grows up happy and healthy. Our programs empower individuals of all ages to reach their full potential. We create stronger families, healthier communities, and a brighter future for all. Visit mhanwi.org or follow us, MHANW Indiana, to learn more and support our mission today.
Have you ever considered becoming an iron worker? Local 395 is now accepting applications for their apprenticeship program. Go to ironworkers395.com. Look under the training section, click on apprenticeship, and scroll down to the application. You must be 18 years old, have a high school diploma or GED, and you must be physically able to perform the work of the trade. Find out more by calling the apprenticeship school in Lake Station at 219-962-7675 or visit ironworkers395.com.
We welcome you back to Wings Etc., our final coach, before we talk to the Director of Athletics, Lowell Hosmer, to wrap up our show here. And still some more stops. Again, if you want to join the folks from 3:30 to 4:30 at Valpo Velvet, you can get a free scoop of ice cream there. So if you got the sweet tooth like I do, then it might be a good idea for you. Mike Armitage about to enter year number 2 once we get all the way down to the spring. You got a lot of things to do, I'm sure, this summer, though, Coach, before we talk about starting that second season. But let's recap year number 1, and I'm sure you're excited about making some more imprint yourself on the roster and all the things that go into your program.
Yeah, I think first, obviously the improvement, it starts with the willingness of the current players that we had this year, and their willingness to accept some change and understand that if we were going to change and we were going to go in a different direction, that we were going to have to do things differently. And I think they did a great job of accepting that. So made it a lot easier for me and my coaching staff to come in and say, okay, here's what the direction we're going to go in, and they did a great job of following that. So I think that's the piece of it. I mean, I look back on most of the season, and I think we had 20 wins, but at the same point I look at it and go, man, we could have easily been chasing 30, but unfortunately that's just the way it is. Sometimes softball, the game, is going to beat you in kind of what seems like an unfair way, but you just want to make sure you take care of those opportunities that you don't beat yourself. And that was some of the cause of some of our losses this year. So I think our pitching overall was absolutely a crutch that we leaned on often. I think at times we were streaky at the plate. And our defense in the end of the season, I thought, really turned it around. I think we were a little up and down. Like each game we weren't really sure what we were going to get. And then finally towards that last maybe quarter of the season, I think we really turned a corner and then played good solid defense.
When you go back yourself, what was it for you that pushed you towards the softball side in terms of coaching? And I know obviously you probably imagine you played baseball maybe back in the day and did all that stuff. So how'd you get here?
Yeah, I think in the beginning, I was just like you said. I mean, I was a baseball guy, played high school baseball, played a little junior college baseball, but fell in love with fast pitch. I played for about 20 years at the international level. That kind of gave me some connections, a few things here and there or whatever to kind of get my foot in the door. But through that time, I was also a PE teacher, and I remember coaching our high school softball team, speaking with a coach that was recruiting one of my players, and just said, how do you get into it? And luckily, they had an open position that was a volunteer position, which is kind of what you do in high school when you coach high school sports, is volunteer.
Close.
So I took advantage of that, and then the next season, one of our assistants took the job at Eastern Illinois, and actually, she's the pitching coach right now of Texas Tech that's going to be playing later today. So she left. That opened a spot for me. From that point forward, I just fell in love with all, the recruiting, the training, all the stuff that goes into being a college coach.
You mentioned the pitching last year. Azalea Lopez, I think, a big part of that, right? Second team, all Missouri Valley, also hit for you as well, pretty well. So talk about her and maybe some of the other players that were a big part in what was a good turnaround for you guys this year.
Yeah, I think one of the best things about EZ is she's a competitor. And I think when you give her the ball on the mound, you're going to get a certain effort out of those type of people. So she did that for me at our old school, and obviously did that at a very high level for us here at Valpo. So just, second team, I don't know. I could argue, but of course I'm biased. I mean, I really felt she was a first-team all-conference player, but it is what it is, and the bottom line is she's a competitor, and that's what we want to have. I want to have, if we can have ball players and competitors, we're going to be pretty good,
Biggest thing in year number 2, we'll finish on this, to take that, as you said, close that gap from 20 to 30 wins, chasing that number. What do you guys have to do?
Don't beat yourself. I mean, it's simple. I mean, the game will beat us. I'll give you a great example. We're playing Bradley in the third game. We already won the first 2 games, and we have bases loaded, down by a run. our hitter was up with one out and hits a laser back at the pitcher. It goes off of her thigh, and then in the air, the shortstop makes a diving catch on it and doubles off our kid at third base. Nobody did anything wrong, but we got beat because of the way the game is played. I mean, the kid made a great play, so you tip your cap. So the game will beat you enough, even when you do it the right way and play the right way. But when it comes down to, giving the other team an extra out or swinging at ball 4 when it's clear ball 4 instead of taking the walk, things like that, those little things that people, well, it's just an out here and there. Well, it's not really an out. It's another opportunity. One you either take away from yourself or one you add and give to the other team. So I think just making sure that we do not commit those type of errors, I think we'll be in good shape next year.
Well, Coach, best of luck. You're number 2, and anything left you got to do recruiting-wise and putting that roster together for the second season, okay?
Thank you very much.
All right, we will talk to the athletic director, Laurel Hosmer, right after this to wrap up our show and put a finishing touch on it here from Wings, etc.
Do you like to work with your hands, creating something from nothing? Then think about Laborers Local 41. You'll get 432 hours of apprenticeship training, all while earning a wage with benefits and incurring no student debt. You'll travel to different job sites, learn tons of skills, and in a lot of cases, be the first one on and the last one off a job site. It all starts at laborers41.com.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Jason Rakos in Maryville today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Laurel Hosmer is the director of athletics at Valpo. Year number 1 in the books for you. Is it all you could have imagined and expected?
That and then some. It's been great. It's been challenging, fun, exciting. So grateful to serve in this role and serve our student athletes and all the coaches you've had a chance to talk to today.
Yeah, I can imagine even more time probably than you thought. Like you thought, I'm going to be really busy, but even a little bit more.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah.
And it's amazing, though, with work that you find purpose and passion in. It doesn't feel like too much time ever because I get to give back to student-athlete experience I had once upon a time that changed my life.
Right.
And so that makes all the time meaningful, and I'm so grateful to have that opportunity and to serve future generations.
You've been busy in year number 1. You had to hire some coaches, women's basketball, football, and do those things. So take us through those processes when you're doing all that and how it works out to get everything accomplished and hiring somebody to be a head coach.
Yeah, certainly it's a really important thing that you do, and in the lead up, you're always evaluating, and you've got to be prepared for anything, and sometimes you have to make really hard decisions, but you don't make them lightly, and you have to have conviction. And you have to feel like, if you're grounded in the best interest of the student athlete and the institution, then, you do what you need to do and lead in that way. And, you move really quick, right? Those hires you talk about, football, basketball, right? They're important. And when you don't have a head coach in place, you're leaving your student athletes in limbo. Mm-hmm. And, your best way to serve them in their patience in the transition is to think about nothing else, so I block off time. No one gets to me until it's done, and I talk to people throughout, new candidate, anybody, like we'll look at anybody, everybody, and had the opportunity to work with a search firm for both of these searches with Kyle Bowlesby, and he's a great resource just in help kind of facilitate the process and bringing people to the table. And when we think about what we need, right, we have to think about somebody that understands Valpo, that can articulate to me what it means to sell Valpo to a student athlete, to the community, to be a great representative. Do they fit with our university? I think one of the things that is a big part of fit for Valpo and Valpo Athletics is grit, right? And that chip on your shoulder, and why not us, and a belief and a conviction in what you can do here, because I believe in it and I want everybody around me to believe in it. And I think we've had a great set of people here doing it, including Coach Waddle and Coach Boyd. Really excited about the future.
When you mentioned the landscape of college athletics, there's always been an emphasis. Everybody has to run their programs. It takes financial ability, it takes money, it takes donations and people doing stuff, sponsorships, all that. I know, reading a note here, you guys did a great job on your Valpo Day this year, raised over $220,000 and was a big increase from last year. It's a challenge, right? Because now you're talking in the world of NIL and all this stuff that you have to figure out where does that money come from, and that puts the onus back on you and the coaches and your team as well.
Yeah, and I think, where does it come from, right? We got to be creative. We got to find ways. A day like Valpo Day is a university effort, right? And huge credit in particular to, our university advancement team and all the work that they do leading up to and throughout. And, they've did a great job of putting challenges in place. And you know what? Say it in front of all of our coaches here, right? Like, it's pretty easy to needle the competitive button when you got some challenges to earn some additional funding, and so that's great. But it has to come from everybody. It takes a village and then some, right? So it's got to be, like you said, it's from our alumni, from our supporters, from former student athletes, from the community, and we're an and school in a lot of ways, and we're an and need, right? Like, we need donations and NIL and sponsorship and ticket purchasers, right? People coming to our games, like, that's huge. It changes the experience. And so I think people, how they connect, how they engage, how they give back, it all makes a difference. And we need all of it. And people need to opt in to what they believe in and what makes sense for them. And we've got a great team of people to talk to them about what that can look like if they're interested.
Yeah, let's finish on that. Tickets for everybody, season tickets, individual game tickets. How can they do it, and some of the incentives that might be there too? Yeah,
absolutely. So, it starts with coming to a game, right? Buying a single ticket, but season tickets, right? It's our way to count on you, and you can always give them to friends if you can't make it. But if you own a business, you can host people. And so, how do you do it? Tickets.valpoathletics.com. We've got football and volleyball on sale now for season tickets. We'll have deposits open soon for our basketball seasons, right? And even if you don't know what the schedule is going to be, raising your hand saying I'm in, that's huge for us, right? And that's just the starting point. We have special season ticket holder events that we do, and then if you're interested in supporting the Valpo Victory Fund or any of our sports, there's opportunities at certain levels to gain some benefits with hospitality, with parking. And you can learn all about that. You can look at the Valpo Victory Fund on our website as well to learn more about some of the benefits that are available there.
Okay. Anything that people need to know? Anything else?
Listen, we're Northwest Indiana's Division I institution, and we are proud to be a part of Northwest Indiana, and we want you to be proud of us because we're working hard to represent the university, the city, and this region. And we are going to make an impact. We're growing, and you should get in on the ground floor. Awesome. Appreciate it, and appreciate the opportunity always to be a part of this show and do this each and every year. I think this is the third straight year we've done this. So thank you for believing in us to help you guys out, and thanks to Brandon and your entire staff, okay? Thank you. I appreciate it. You're a part of how we grow. Absolutely. Thank you to our staff, everybody here at Wings, etc. as well, and all the folks who joined us. This has been the Valpo Coaches Show. Don't forget, you can join them still at Valpo Velvet for a free scoop of ice cream, 3:30 to 4:30 today. So if you're in the area, make sure to do that. We will see you next time.